Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. I have a really fun topic today that I want to talk about. It's basically my birthday wish list for Yu-Gi-Oh! Yesterday I didn't want to do too much stuff. Yesterday was actually my birthday, not today, but I didn't want to do too much stuff. That's why all I did was cover the V-Jump promo revealed super easy video. But I was just kind of thinking about it, and I think we're kind of in a position where I don't think we're going to get much news revealed until the 22nd, when we get the live stream that I believe is going to have like some Alliance Insight reveals, maybe some other stuff, we'll see. But since we're not going to get too much stuff in between now and then, I kind of want to do a fun video talking about this. And, if I may, let me make a quick little birthday wish list video for things for maybe just the next year or so. It doesn't have to come right today, right now for my birthday, but just if any of these things happen in the next year, even if only one of them happens, I think I'd still probably be pretty happy. So that's kind of the basis of the video. So let's get into this thing. Of course, starting off here, first thing that I need to talk about is my favorite archetypes, right? I have 5 archetypes, and everybody has their own list of these. Like, they're some of their favorite archetypes that have kind of the power creep of the game has passed those archetypes by. But these are your favorite archetypes historically, and if they got good support to be playable for the modern format, you would be over the moon. You would touch nothing but that deck, right? So here's my 5, right? The first one's Zephra. I love this deck. My hope for this one is that it could be a consideration for Terminal World 3 in 2025. That's kind of what I'm banking on. I doubt they would do a Terminal World 4, so if it's not in Terminal World 3 next year, I really wonder if they'll even mess with that, and even, you know what I mean, it has its time. Did it miss its chance, or you just hope for a core set? But I really like Zephra. I'd really love to see that. I really want them to maintain the fact that the deck is, like, as a pure version, like a pretty control-heavy deck. I'd really like them to maintain that, though. Next up, Magnet Warriors. You guys know how I feel about Magnet Warriors. I've done numerous rants on the channel about Magnet Warriors before. My one thing about this one is that this archetype is supposed to be comparable to ABC's. ABC's just got 8 straight-up new cards last year, this year, 2024. So, come on, Konami. Give Magnet Warriors the support they deserve, the support they need to break the threshold of rogue level. Be a solid rogue deck or better. I'd love to see that. Number 3, Subter. This is the one that I unfortunately just don't have the most hope for. Right? Magnet Warriors have some anime tied. Magnet Warriors supposed to be tied to ABC, which just got a bunch of support. Zephra's Terminal World tied, which we're currently doing, one set a year on. Subter is the tough one. It's a TCG exclusive, and if something like Burning Abyss hasn't gotten new support in so long, I don't really have much reason to have faith that Konami will actually give Subter a new wave, but I'm over here with my fingers crossed hoping for it. So we'll have to see, but that's one this is maybe the one I'd love the most, but it's the one I have the least faith will happen. So fingers crossed on that one. Ninjas. Ninjas could be cool. Ninjas not a huge anime archetype, but they are in the anime. They're just not they're just not part of like a super relevant character. So it leaves me in a position where like this could maybe be something in like an Animation Chronicle type set. Could we get 2 or 3 ninjas from the anime that never got printed and go from there? Other than that, like, a lot of people love the aesthetic of ninjas, and I really think the play style is really cool. It's just they're not there, and so we just have to hope that Konami kind of takes that dive in on them. They just need a little push. They even competed with Kashtira like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So, come on. I'd love to see this one. But, yeah, it'd have to be a weird set, or a weird situation. And the last one, Cyber Dragon. This is the one I have the most faith in, for sure, unquestionably. In fact, there's already rumors that there could be Cyber Dragon support in Alliance Insight. It's possible that gets revealed at the live stream or later on during Alliance Insight reveals. But, the only time will tell if that support is actually good enough to take them to, like, again, breaking through that threshold of rogue or better. But I think they have a solid basis, and I think Konami will probably take them there, and it only behooves them. So that's like really the main thing, and everybody has their own list here. This is just my personal one for my birthday wish list, and honestly, one of these. If the Cyber Dragon support ends up being good enough, that would make me happy for all of 2025. If I could be greedy, I'd love to see a second one also get, shot in there and get support that finally allows them to break through and be competitive. But it seems like Cyber Dragon's the one that has the best chance, and even if that's the only one, I'd still be pretty happy there. All right. On to my other things, and they're ban list gripes. I usually don't gripe much about the ban list. There's just not that much, like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, if we're in a bad format, I'm like, we have to at least get this stuff out of the game. But there's not a ton of stuff that I'm always just like, this needs to come back, this needs to get hit, yada, 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 to gripe on that kind of thing. But there are some small things. Two big things. The first one. Where am I looking here? Where am I looking here? Where am I looking here? Some people are going to think I'm crazy. Krishan Halki Fibrax. Listen, I know it's weird, but hang with me. I'm not crazy. Crystron's just got a really nice wave of support in Supreme Darkness in the OCG. It has a couple of decent little tops there. Not like a crazy deck, but like it's gotten a little bit of success. That stuff's coming to us in January. I would love it if Konami would give Hulk an errata so that it actually works for Crystron, and then release it off the ban list, right? It's one of the most infuriating things in the world when an archetype gets support that is generic, and everybody else gets to make use of that support except for the archetype originally it was designed for, right? They designed Hulk, Crystron never saw play with Hulk, and every other deck made use of Hulk because they just made it too generic and it was broken, right? So I don't care whether they go about it on making its materials require at least a Crystron monster, or making it so Hulk can only summon Krystrons from deck instead of any tuner whatsoever. I think either of those erratas would easily make this deck much less appealing to any deck that's just trying to play it as a generic tool. And I think Crystron could come off the list. I just also think when the original Crystron, or when the new Crystron support came out, at first I was kind of cold on it. I wasn't like crazy about it, and then as I've seen how the deck plays, I really think it's a cool deck, and I really want to mess with it. It might be one of my favorite newer decks to play, and so Hulk could be a really cool tool for like a deck that's even on release not going to be top tier. It's probably going to be in that rogue level. And so it can get power crept really quickly, but this is a tool where if it looks like the Crystron deck may get power crept relatively soon, release Hulk on a ban list. Give it the errata, give it a release, and then maybe Crystron hangs around a little bit longer as a cool rogue deck and actually gets to abuse the tool that was originally intended for them. I think that would be really, really cool. So that's my first ban list wish list. My other one, and some people are also going to hate this, Zodiacs. I think Zodiac should not be on the ban list anymore. Now, that's another one where, don't call me crazy, I wouldn't release them off the ban list unless you did some things for them, you know what I mean, to keep them in check, but I think they could, 100%. So one, right this second, Barrage should be off the ban list. It's a hard once per turn, like E-Tele card for a specific archetype. Like, that card is so fine. Take that card off the ban list. The entire deck is entirely normal summon reliant. Hard drawing Barrage is the only way the deck does stuff like through its normal summon getting interrupted. So like 100% they should have Barrage at 3 already. Dryden probably could be at 3, right? You can only use their like cheat summoning ways once per turn, so like it's not even that like easy to put like a ton of Drydens on the field. And not to mention, it's just a Dryden. Dryden is like a mediocre to lackluster interruption in modern day, right? Like we have hard negates. We have quick banishes. We have, you know what I mean, quick shuffles. We have freaking Riseol Detonator, which is just like 3 Dryadents plus a negate from the Myriologic Aggregator getting detached. Like it is, you know what I mean? Like we have kind of power crept Dryadent. It's still a decent end board piece, but it's not insane, even if it's not once per turn. Ending on 3 Dryadents, if that's your whole end board, I'm like, okay, Raigeki, Dark Ruler or more. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that just respond to that. And the engines just play through that these days. So, Dryden should probably just be off the ban list as well. And then you get to the more problematic ones. The other 2 ones on the ban list are Broadbull. Needs to be a Hardness return. That's unquestionable. You can even do more to it, make it so it only searches Zodiac cards, yada, yada, yada. But definitely make it Hardness return. That's a big one. And then Rat Peer, they need to make Rat Peer's effect when it's a material a hard once per turn effect as well. The ability to just get free extra Zodiac monsters from deck is too good. So I think getting 1 a turn is plenty. But yeah, I think if you made Broadbull and Rat Peer hard once per turn on those 2 effects, I think you could release all of Zodiac off the ban list. Like, because what are their options now? Going first, what insane end board is this deck setting up? It's setting up Dryden, Maybe the Armored Exceed package if you want to play an extra 2 to 3 extra deck slots for the Armored Exceed package and a brick trap in the main deck. Maybe even that you might even have to play the spell too. What else? What else did we talk about here? Utopic Draco Future. Okay, a monster negate, kind of annoying card to deal with, but you have to give up 2 of your Exceeds to make it. Okay, somewhat costly card to make. And then, like, that's basically it for going first stuff. Those 3 things. There's some other tools out there, like sure, like Zeus exists, and so this may be the best Zeusing deck that's ever existed. We'll see. Typhon's out there, but that Typhon, that doesn't really help that deck specifically. And then I guess it's like Ryzeal, right? The Ryzeal's engine could be interesting there, but again, look at the stuff I just listed. Zeus, Typhon, Armored Exceed package, Utopic Draco Future. All of that stuff you are immediately locked out of if you start using the Ryzeal card. So it doesn't come without a cost. So I actually think Zodiac could be a pretty cool mid-range deck if it came off the list. It may even still be a hard-going second deck that people try and make use of, but I don't think it's broken by any means. So I would love to see that. And also just for my personal timeline, this is my wish list, but I started Yu-Gi-Oh! Like right as Zodiac basically got axed for the final time and they finally became unplayable. And so I never really got to mess with them. I always thought the idea of the deck seemed really cool, but it was already gone at that point, so I couldn't really do anything about it. And I'd love to actually have like a modern day chance to mess around with them as like a cool mid-range deck. That's just everything Exceed. That would be really, really cool. But we'll see. So that's it. I mean, those are basically my wishes. If one of those ban list things happened, I mean, even just like, listen, they released Barrage on this most recent ban list, so it already, like, we already know it's in Konami's mind of like, that's the direction we're going, is get some of the Zodiac stuff off the ban list. And same thing with, well, not same thing with Hulk, but again, them printing Crystron support while Hulk's still on the ban list maybe makes me think that they'll think about getting it off some way, somehow there. So I have hope. I have hope. If a couple of these things happen in the next calendar year, in 2025, I would be really, really stoked. We'll see, though. You know what I mean? But there you go, guys. That's my wish list. That's what me personally as a player would love to see more than anything. Other than that, you know, we're going to get new archetypes. There's always at least a couple archetypes every year that kind of blow me away and make me really happy. You know, that Konami gives me archetypes like that I enjoy. But, you know, as far as stuff that I know about and wish for, this is kind of what I'm looking for. So there you go. Thanks for listening to me rant about just myself and my selfish wishes for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned for news. Again, I don't expect too much until the 22nd, but it's possible we get something here or there before then that I'll bring you as soon as it comes. But see you in the next one. Peace.